Meditation rooms won't solve employee burnout. A burnt out employee can cost an organization $21,000 per year in lost productivity. You as the employee get the opportunity to work inside of an area that leads you closer to your personal mission. Companies that fail to address that are employing a one-size-fits-all. Period. You deserve for your dreams to be considered. You deserve for your goals to be considered. You deserve to be considered. I'm Shauna K. Henson, lifestyle design coach, goal strategist, and corporate culture consultant. I am your host today for the UnCultured podcast, where we talk about the ins and outs of corporate culture and what it means for it to be human-centered and transformational, both inside and out. That's the most important part of this, right? That a company not only just be who they say they want to be and do that at every turn and opportunity, but that it has an opportunity to transform things for the people that it serves, customers, and the people that it's charged to care for, employees, right? So that's the whole point of having a company. A company is meant to be a micro solution to a problem or a need for a section of humanity. In its essence, a company is meant to be human-centered. The challenge that we find these days is that most companies are not coming with a human-centered approach to the way that they kind of care for their employees, which is why I'm coming to challenge the culture that is corporate, and that is the tagline of this show. So then what is the most important part? Most of you, I know, are working for a corporation, a Fortune 500 company, or somewhere there in between, kind of that vibe. Not everybody's working for like a super small company. Most of you will be working for larger corporations, government contracting agencies, the government itself, that kind of thing. So then what is most important for you as the person that is working at said company? What's interesting here is, one, first, to be aware that your company should have a culture. Probably more often than having a poor corporate culture is having no corporate culture. I think that's the thing that gets super interesting. How do you identify and know what the culture of your company is? Well, first, you could actually just go and ask for the people that are supposed to know, whether it's somebody in the C-suite. Somebody in the C-suite is supposed to be able to answer the question to you: what is the culture of the company that I have signed up to work for? And if you haven't asked that before, go ask. Go ask. Some of you will get very clear answers. And then the next question is, if somebody has given you an answer, the next question is, well, how come I didn't know that before I asked you? And the third follow-up thing, if you really want to get a few brownie points, is where can we put this information so that all of the employees, both current and coming employees, will then have a clear picture of what it means to work for this culture that you are so clear about? The rest of you will get answers that will say, our mission statement is, our vision statement is. Not the same thing, right? A mission statement is the reason why the company was created. It is something that usually the CEO or at some point a collective board rewrites that says, this is why we are doing what we are doing. A vision statement is the statement that says, hey, in X amount of time, we want to accomplish Z result. It is a forward forecasting of what the company wants and wishes to accomplish. And it should be updated, by the way. Because again, if a company sets a goal, which, to be fair, goals should have numbers and dates associated with them. We want to impact 1,000 people by X day in X year. That is an actual goal, right? So that means if it's a goal, which, to be fair, is part of the overall vision, which should include the numbers. So your vision statement should include a very salient goal statement, right? So once that happens, you should achieve it. Goals are meant to be achieved, not just to be discussed, right? So then once you achieve the goal, your vision statement needs to be updated because it includes a goal statement that has numbers and dates included inside of that thing. And then you have a third thing that I always introduce, is a brand statement. That is what you say you want to do and be for your constituents or your customers, your clients. Who do we want to do and be in the way of our clients, and how do we want to serve them? That's your brand, right? Vision is, we have this thing. It includes a goal statement. We want to be this and do this thing in the world. We want to do X thing by X time. That's our vision, including our goal statement. It's and then mission statement is internal. And that's, I think, the challenge. The mission statement is internal. The mission statement matters to the higher ups and the people that created the company, because they know that's how they know why they did what they did to even start the company in the first place. Mission statement, vision statement, brand statement are not the corporate culture. Ta-da! So that's the big shocker. So when you go to your higher up, somebody in the C-suite, not your manager, somebody in the C-suite, and you say, "Hey, what is the culture of this company?" Whether by email or phone call or a voice note or, you know, don't do what I would do, which is post a video on LinkedIn and tag them. If they were ignoring me, I would post a video on LinkedIn and tag them several times, several different people, several different humans, and say, "I just want to understand who I'm working for. I don't have any condemnation. I don't dislike my job. I would like to know who I'm working for. What is the culture here?" Okay. So, because again, culture can be chosen. You can choose the culture of where you assign your time, your effort, and your energy. All right. Most of you will get the response that is a regurgitation of a mission statement and or an amalgamation of the mission, vision, and brand statement, but none of those things will determine the culture. Because most of those statements, most of the time, do not include the ethos, the essence of what it is, of who we are saying we are going to be, and how we are being that all the time. It could. Some companies have moved away from having super like vague mission and vision statements and brand statements that most companies don't even have brand statements, honestly. They really just tout their mission statement as their brand statement. And it's just not the same thing. The mission statement is the internal driver. The vision statement is the forecasting for the people that work for the company. And the brand statement is the statement that you are making to your constituents, your clients, your customers, and your potential of all those things, right? It's the front facing message, right? And so then your corporate culture, it is what do we want to be known for, both internally and externally? So, in some ways, your brand statement, if you have one, or if a company has one, is going to be a representation of the corporate culture. It's not it entirely, but it is a representation of it. And then internally, if we surveyed any employees or any of your coworkers, you and your coworkers, would you all know what to say around the culture? Probably not. So now here we are about asking the question, right? And it's a really big circular and a circular issue where employees don't know, higher ups are not clear. And so then there's this big, like, convoluted confusion about who we are and what we stand for and what matters to us as a company. So it's hard for you to prioritize knowing how to align yourself with a company that values what you value, that will point you in the right direction and will take care of you, because they don't do a good job kind of clearly stating what matters to them. They do a good job of listing, like, here's our benefits package. All right. And so now you're forced to kind of make a decision about the career you want to have, the job you want to take, the company you want to work for, based on, a checklist of things. Am I making enough money? Are there benefits included? What's the promotion kind of cycle like? And do I have to come into the job? Right? Like, am I able to remote work? Because those are the things that people are really considering right now. But none of that is going to tell you if this is a good fit for you. One interview is not going to be able to tell you that. Understanding the culture of the company would. And companies should, I really don't like using that word, but hey, look, companies should do a better job at sharing what it is their culture stands for, what it is the culture of that company is, not just their mission and vision statement. So that's like my sidebar about companies and the way that they set things up and how frustrating it flusters me a lot. Because I think it's an easy fix. But the company has to first be willing to say authentically what it is and what it stands for in order for any of this to move forward. It's an easy fix. The miscommunication between the company and their audience, and the company and their internal audience, their employees who they are intended to care for, it's an easy fix. All of that said, if the company that you work for currently hasn't fixed it, I have something to tell you. They probably won't. And if they do, we don't know when, and it's not in your control. So the thing that you can control, if you're working currently for a company that is unclear about its own culture, and so then has no way to communicate it to you because it doesn't even know what it is, who it is, and what it wants to be, right? Then the thing that you can control is how you are going to operate and function inside of your role, inside of this probably what feels like confusion. Really, honestly, unidentified corporate cultures create confusion inside of organizations. So if you are experiencing a state of confusion, it's because your organization, the one that you work for, doesn't know how to answer the question. If you are closing on Tuesday, what would this one thing be that everybody in your company would be working toward? That is the one question that, when asked, most higher ups can't answer. And so you take, you hire a consultant, you bring them in, they survey some people, you whatever, and maybe you come up with something flowery, but is it the ethos? Is it actually what the company stands for? And you as an employee will always be able to know, because there's always a level and presence of confusion in a company that doesn't have clear culture. Always. Always. And also, like no lie, a lot of pointless meetings also. That's like another key indicator. Having a ton of meetings, culture is confused. The culture is confused, right? And so then it becomes important for the higher ups in the corporation to make a determination about who they are and what they want to stand for, not individually, although that could probably help with leadership. But collectively, what are we doing here and why do we need to be here? Okay. Because if it's all about the money grab, again, the confusion is evident uh with the confusion is evidence of a culture that suggests just get your money, just get your paycheck and go home. And nothing is worse than a company that's lost sight of not just its mission, but of its need to take care of the people that it has under its care. Nothing is worse than that, because then you have people that are experiencing burnout at drastic levels and degrees. And without really addressing the misalignment in culture, it's no hope. It's really just no hope. High turnovers will happen. You are, as an employee, maybe considering what your next job is going to be. Your resume is always updated on LinkedIn, right? And you're always looking for the next best thing because you're not settled. And I the beauty of running a company is that you get to care for people. Now, maybe you are not the person that cares for people, right? Like maybe your natural personality is not like, and I mean, I'm saying you, like, let's say you're running a company and you're like, I am not about to care for these humans. Like, what do you mean care for? I'm not coddling these people. Right. So hire somebody to coddle them for you. That's, I mean, that's fair, because at the end of the day, they need to be taken care of. And I don't know about coddled, like I'm using that word kind of jokingly, but they need to be taken care of. They need to be provided for in a holistic way and sense. And so if you do not have the equipment internally to do it inside yourself or inside of your current staff, you should in fact bring somebody in to do it for you, because at the end of the day, employees, and I know you can, attest to this, the more you and your coworkers feel cared for, the easier it is to think about doing the work that you have to do, because it doesn't all of a sudden always feel like sacrifice. It feels like being a part of something. It feels like being part of a mission, not a family, because that's also stupid. No families at work, unless you're like actual family works at your job. But like, it gives you an opportunity to be a part of something that you really deeply believe in, something that aligns with your core values, your vision, and your mission in life. Which, by the way, as an individual, you too are a corporation. Hello. You too should have a mission statement, a vision statement, and a brand statement for yourself. Who am I? What do I want to be known for? How do I want to show up in the world? And how do I ensure that I'm going to do that every single day? That is your own personal brand of company, right? And it's one of those things that the more clear you are about your own mission, your own vision, your own brand, um, the easier it's going to be for you to attract opportunities. I say this, a lot. You'll attract opportunities, but also it will be easier for people to know what to call you for. Even inside the company that you work for right now, promotions are coming up. If your mission, your vision, and your personal brand statement are super clear and people can tell what those things are because you are actively practicing the art of being that every day, then the promotion might not even get posted. Somebody might just call you and say, hey, I thought about you for this. Because I know who you are and I know what you stand for. I know more than the key around the water cooler. I know what is deeply important to you, because that shows up every single day in my interaction with you. Every single day, right? So, sidebar, as a consultant, I get an opportunity to work with lots of companies and organizations in a lot of different areas. But even as it pertains to corporate culture, again, the external corporate culture is expressed through brand, right? And so then it's really important in my work that that external corporate culture expression that we are calling brand be super clarified so that my clients get the best results. And also internally, that even at any level and all the time, I am always working to ensure that my clients feel more cohesive with their teams at every single level, top down, so that if there is confusion, I get the opportunity to mediate and bring things to people's attention in a way that feels, super salient and easy to do. That said, I was having a conversation. That said, as I'm talking to the different groups of people, for whatever the reason, I'm talking to marketing, I'm talking to HR, I'm talking to business development, I'm talking to the CEO. And I always disclaimer As we're working through things, we're casting, what the vision is going to be for the company as it moves forward. We're answering that question. If you were closing on Tuesday, what would everybody in your company be working toward? We're answering those big questions. We're working through those big things. And I am futuristic. Now, when I say futuristic, I have taken and studied the Clifton Strengths Test presented by Gallup. And if you are interested in this kind of thing, you should go to gallup.com and take it. I'm not affiliated in any way, nor am I getting $1 from them. But it's a good thing to know for yourself, not for the sake of just knowing information, but so you can do what I'm about to tell you I do with my clients. I am futuristic in my way of being. And because I'm futuristic and I lead from connectedness and my relator strength, I know that my tendency is to cast a big, big, big picture. What I also know from having done this work for almost 2 decades is that sometimes when you tell people the big, big, big picture, it's scary. And not just only is it scary to the team and the people that feel like they're going to have to execute it because they're already thinking about their current workload. Because at this point, I wasn't always delivering efficiency models to my clients. I was doing other types of work. So, they're thinking about their workload and all that they have to do. And we're not contracted to work through how to make their process more efficient. So all they're thinking about is the work that they have to do. And I don't have a way to help them with the work that they have to do. This is in my history. I don't have a way to help them with the work that they have to do at that time. And so then I'm just giving them more to do. So imagine I get hired, 12 years ago to do consulting, and I'm telling the customer, yeah, I see all this big stuff for you to do, man, and you just have this person do that. Now I'm giving them a plate that they cannot hope to chew from. Of course, now, obviously, we deploy efficiency models, we deploy systems, we curate and curtail things because we are clarifying first the corporate culture of the company. We know exactly what matters, and we're analyzing the bottom line, like what is making a difference here for the company, and also what's making a difference for the employees, because those two things are not always the same. Sometimes we encourage customers to spend money on things that will make a difference for employees, and those employees, happier, healthier, and more whole, will in fact get to developing the bottom line. Someone sent something to me. I'm going to come back to the point, but someone sent something to me the other day that said this. I want to read it to you. He said, I thought about you and the work that you do with this. And it came from a newsletter from Monday.com. I want to read it to you so I can make this point. It says, meditation rooms won't solve employee burnout. A burnt out employee can cost an organization $21,000 per year in lost productivity, according to a new study from the American Journal of Preventive Medicine. While many organizations have implemented surface level solutions like meditation rooms, yoga classes, and company vacations, HR professionals note that these one size fits all approaches fail to address root causes. Instead, talent experts point to recognition as a way, and it goes on and on and on and on. I don't agree with that second part. Probably need a whole episode to do that part, so I might. But the biggest thing where it stops that I think that matters here is that this one size fits all approach fail to address the root causes. Right. Because if you have employees that are not allowed to and able to consider what really matters to them, then it doesn't matter how much you cut your programs or trim the fat elsewhere, how much we tell you to cut out this program and refocus your energy here. That's external things. That's what you're planning to sell as a company. It's what the company is planning to sell. That's what they're planning to offer to their external constituents and clients and prospective customers. It's not got anything to do with making their internal systems more efficient. How do you make internal systems more efficient? Well, first, it's technology, right? Like technology will automatically make things more efficient. But before the technology can be deployed, it's about clarifying the strengths, clarifying the assignments, clarifying the purpose and the vision of each individual employee. Why? Because if they are clear about how their contribution fits into the entire model, I'm saying they, if you are more clear about where your contribution fits into the entire model of the company, then you are more inclined to do it. It's not just, oh, if you don't do this, you're going to get yelled at. Oh, if you don't do this, you're going to miss a deadline. Forget that. If your company makes clear to you why what you are doing matters to the whole mission, then you can attach to it differently, particularly when the work that you are doing aligns with their mission, but it aligns with your own personal mission. That is what I advocate for. A symbiotic employee and employer relationship where you as the employee get the opportunity to work inside of an area and inside of a skill set that leads you closer to your personal mission. Companies that fail to address that are employing a one size fits all, period. Period. And every single person that works for a company deserves to be considered. You deserve to be considered. You deserve for your dreams to be considered. You deserve for your goals to be considered. You deserve to be considered. Hey, thanks for tuning into the UnCultured podcast. I've been your host, Shauna K. Henson, lifestyle design coach, goal strategist, and corporate culture consultant. If this is your first time here, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with somebody you know. If you're coming back for more, thanks so much for being here, and I hope that you'll tune in again. No matter what you're doing in your life, remember to make intentional choices, and wherever you are starting, remember that's not where you have to finish. Your life is yours alone, and your next dream is only one goal strategy away from getting exactly what you desire.